Mark, Jess and River, thank you so much for making time for us. It's a real joy to see you. You're old friends of the parish of Ashtead. Thank you for all your prayers for us and your ministry through the years. For those who don't know, Mark and Jess are not only just good friends, but they're ministers of the kingdom, and we've been privileged to pray for them and support them when they were ministering out in Brazil for many years. And I had the great joy of visiting their church earlier this year, preaching in Mark's pulpit, visiting a project that Mark and Jess had set up, and it was really, well, it had a profound impact on me, and I'm very grateful. So they're now in Cardiff. So thanks for making time for us. Can you update us on your news? You're no longer in Rio.
No, we're not. No, we've come back to the UK, and we came back in a bit of a haste and a hurry as lockdown descended at the end of March, actually. And we phoned CMS, and they said, better get out sooner rather than later. We were due to come back right at the end of May.
Right.
And they sensibly looked at, CMS have got great experience working with people around the world in different situations, some a lot more critical than what we were in Rio, but they advised us to come back when we could. So we were working remotely for Brazil for 2 months from a holiday cottage in Cornwall. And we've accepted an invitation now to serve in the Diocese of Llandaff here in Cardiff. So we've changed roles, a lot's changed, and it's great to have an opportunity to share with you there in Ashtead after 8 years of really faithful partnership from St George's and St Giles.
So, thank you. Well, it's lovely. You've got a new language to master then in Wales.
Yes, much harder. Much harder Portuguese.
Very briefly, can you just tell us, what was it like ministering remotely, to your congregation in Brazil? And very difficult, emotionally, spiritually, practically.
Yeah, it's been hard for everyone, and hard at a distance. We have a great team there in Rio. We made a couple of recruitments to our staff team. Some great people joined the team just as we were leaving, and we had to be flexible, as I know you have as well, in learning to go online, learning to get people on Zoom, and it's been great for us as a church, as Christ Church, to continue to do that. A lot harder for the guys in Mozambique, a lot harder for the children in the local community there to understand the need to quarantine themselves, to isolate, to protect the health in that community. So it's been a tough period for Mozambique, as the work has lost quite a bit of momentum there. The building project was just getting going again, but for Christ Church, it's been an interesting time, consolidation for the church, seeking the Lord as we announced our departure just before we ended up leaving, and they're beginning to put out the call for a successor as well. So they've been doing Alpha online, they've been doing Kids Church on Zoom. It's been good.
Lovely for you to see that continuation of ministry and to be able to draw it to a close, recognizing the difficulties of distance, but fantastic. And just very briefly, perhaps just in a minute, you can just tell some of our congregation won't know the project in Marseille. If you can just remind us in a minute what the vision that God gave you for Marseille and what that wonderful project is that we've been able to support you with.
We received in the early days when we moved there, we received an invitation to just do something for the kids in that particular neighborhood. It's a fishing village alongside a kind of channel coming out of the Guanabara Bay, kind of high levels of local environmental pollution and sewage going straight into the water, kind of low human development levels, ever increasing drugs trafficking and drugs control in the area. So we just began through a kind of Bible drama club, and that's continued for the last 5 years, and grown. So there's a kind of an increasing amount of environmental education, caring for God's creation, and how do we do that on that spot? So kind of water harvesting and water treatment, as well as continued Bible study and homework help. And so with your support and with CMS support, the work has grown, and there are two great leaders there, obviously, again, all on pause. I had
the privilege of meeting them,
Yeah, did you?
Yeah.
Of course you did, yeah. So they will be, I mean, I think they are opening up gradually, and the kids are able to drop in. So it's like a kind of drop in and do puzzles and games and homework help. But it's going to take a while before it's kind of able to rebuild momentum.
Well, I just saw in my short period with you how this project was taking shape. It's a building project there, how this is the place where clean water and toilets are for several thousand people, and how this is a place of hope and love and security. And it was, kids were just delightful, and then they got real tough lives. So thank you. Really to be part of that. So you're in Wales. Tell us a little bit about your new post, because you're both in new posts.
That's right. Yeah, we were both invited to join this new resource church plant, effectively part of the HTB network. An invitation from the Bishop of Llandaff, who happens to be my brother's godmother and an old family friend. And the church in Wales has kind of followed the lead of the Church of England in setting up an evangelism fund, and this is one of the first initiatives under that. So it's right in the heart of the student neighbourhood in Cathays, near 80,000 students. We reckon about 79,000 of them don't go to church. So we're not just reaching students, we're reaching the whole community locally. Refugees work as well, and looking to work with ex-offenders in the local prisons, coming out of local prisons. So there's a lot going on, and I'm the associate priest, and Jess is the operations director.
Oh, bless you.
Great.
Making it all happen.
Well, tempting too. Yeah.
And do you have your own building? Are you meeting in a school hall or something, renting a space?
Yeah, we've been given an old church building, the parish of St Tylo, church building of St Tylo, and we're working on refurbishing that at the moment to get it fit for fresh ministry outreach to young people in the neighbourhood.
And for those who don't know, sorry, Jess.
But church meetings won't really launch until probably the new year. So it's going to be, small groups, alpha. That's how the church will begin, and then we'll build services on the back of that.
Lovely. And there are some colleagues in the team that are ministering with you.
Yeah, most of the team has come from Harbour Church, Portsmouth, which is also resource church in the HTB network, and Ryan Forey and Ellie are the leaders, and it's a privilege for us to work with them. Very different from Christchurch, Rio de Janeiro, where we were. We're now the oldies.
We're the eldest.
Oh my word, that makes me ancient. Lovely. And you have a young son, for those who don't know. Tell us how he's settling into life in Wales.
Yeah, thank you so much, everyone, for your prayers for him. It has been a rocky time, but he is basically a very happy little chappy, really enjoying Cardiff, enjoying all the team member, the kind of team guys. They're all kind of 20 and are brilliant playmates for him. So, and we're seeing family and friends, and it's been a huge gift. Obviously, as we're able to start seeing them again. So he's very well, and again, I think maybe we have also asked for prayers for our growth as a family, and I'm pregnant, which has been a real gift.
Oh, congratulations!
Going back to the UK, been a real surprise. So thank you for those of you who knew and have prayed.
Well, that leads me to my last question. So you mentioned two things to pray for. Is there anything else that we could be praying for you as a church family in the days and weeks ahead? And we'd love to do that for you.
Oh, thank you. Well, we are really looking for where the Spirit's moving. I mean, this is a land in Wales with a great heritage of moves of the Holy Spirit and a knowledge of the grace of God, and we want to get involved. So pray for good relations with other local churches. That's a real priority for us, and for us to be able to serve for the kingdom in ways where there really is need locally, so that God would open those doors, as I mentioned, with ex-offenders, with refugees locally, because that's close to our heart, and that's what we want to be, where we want to be serving.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
And then I think if maybe we can also ask for continued prayers for, particularly for the work in Mozambique, that it's, as they kind of get back on their feet. And I mean, the city's still kind of, it's in semi-lockdown, they're trying to open again, but rates are still rising. So to pray for the kids and for the work to be able to adapt and continue and to be stronger through this time somehow or other.
Thank you. Well, we'll do that.